Make the case for a first-time head coach for the Seahawks. To open the show, Bump, you and I went over some names that have been head coaches before. Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh, Dan Quinn, Steve Wilks, all as potential fits for Seattle's new head coach. Now we're going to look at some younger guys, some first-time head coaches, and let's start with someone who's mostly just rumored to be a candidate, Mike Macdonald, defensive coordinator for the Ravens. Now, I'm sure Ravens have their fingers crossed that Mike Macdonald won't be interviewing anytime soon, especially not after the divisional round of the playoffs. This is my personal favorite pick, if for no other reason than it's different. Like, I will be completely I am completely shallow in my preference for Mike Macdonald. He is a young coordinator who seems like this exciting thing. That's all it is. Like, I understand that it'll be easier comparatively for an experienced head coach to come in to build his coaching staff. He's been there, done that. Like, I have no X's and O's reason other than I really like what Mike Macdonald has done, and it's something different.
Yeah, I like Macdonald. Again, he has done a lot with the Ravens, but let's not get it twisted. You got Patrick Queen over there. You got Roquan Smith over there. You have Marlon Humphrey. You got Kyle Hamilton. This defense is on point. But the reason why I like him, another reason why, is because, look, if you want to stay in this 3-4, they're already doing that with the Ravens, right? Maybe he could bring some type of twist to this whole thing and advance his defense a bit. Now, I think a good coach is a good coach. He can coach a 3-4 or a 4-3. It don't matter. But no, I like it, man. And I just like the grind that this young man has been on. And one, we like that he's younger too, right? No, we already made our cases for the older guys. Now let's make a case for the young guys. What do they bring to the table? A perspective that is more in line or closer in line with the current players on your roster and with everything. I'm not saying just because he's 36, 37, he's automatically going to connect with a 23, 24-year-old. You know, I forgot where he's from, but, you know, you're still dealing with guys from the South, from the Midwest, from the West, the East. Like, that's what's great about football is you get all these different ways of living all in one locker room, and you got to make it work. But him being a young guy, there's just little cultural things that he'll be able to hit on with the 23-year-old that the average NFL coach or older NFL coach can't do. And then you combine that just with the performance of the Ravens this year. We talk about Lamar Jackson and the season that he's having, and he's having a great season, but he wouldn't be having that season if that defense wasn't holding it down the way that they've been holding it down, man. And again, what they lead in, it was sacks, it was yards per game, and one other category. The first team to lead, first defense to lead in all three categories in NFL history. So yes, you have the talent, but you still have to make that talent perform. We look at the Seahawks defense; they had some talent, not Ravens talent, but we felt like the Hawks couldn't get these guys to perform at a high level. So Mike Macdonald is my favorite candidate for the job.
Another candidate for the job, God, I always struggle with his name because I've seen it two different ways, but Ejiro Evero, who has been with the Broncos, actually has a lot of coaching experience in coordinator roles and assistant roles. Most currently was with the Panthers and was one of the bright spots of a team that otherwise really struggled, able to, much like Vrabel, do a lot with less when it comes to that defense. They had a lot of injuries, had a lot of personnel moves, and he still managed, particularly over the first half of the season, to make this unit look really solid. He has an official interview with the Seahawks this week, and he's another young candidate.
Who was it? I'm sorry.
Ejiro Evero. Now, he's 43 years old.
I can't even lie. I don't know much about that dude. Yeah,
that's okay. But just the idea of having someone from the defensive side of the ball who's worked with some solid players but no head coaching experience.
Yeah. That's cool, too. And the reason why I like that no head coaching experience is because you aren't jaded by the NFL world in the role of being a head coach. Because once you're a head coach, imagine what McCarthy's going through right now. 17 years in the game, one Super Bowl. I think he's been to the conference championship 3 times, I think. And there's a different amount of expectation and pressure that comes with him. And he might feel he must go about his job a certain way because this is just the way things are done. You get a young coordinator who's jumping into the game, first time head coach. I'm hoping they're more likely to take a couple of risks in areas that an older guy is not willing to do because they're like, in their mind, they're thinking this is just the way things are. And that's where you get in trouble. There was a moment in NFL time where, the mobile quarterback wasn't going to work. Now you say if you're a quarterback in this league, you better be a little bit mobile. You better be able to get outside the pocket and do some things. There was a time where they thought this is just the way it is. That's not going to work. And you always need somebody to come in and take a risk and kind of change things a little bit. And that's what attracts me to these younger guys, is that they could be the next wave in changing the game in a way that's going to help, hopefully, the Seahawks. So I just love fresh eyes and fresh perspective. But they do need an old head on that staff. I'm not saying go ahead and hire a whole bunch of 30-year-olds, but 30-year-olds, some lead the charge.
Right, maybe you
but
bring
you
in
need
an
the
older
support.
defensive guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.